Thank you for tuning in once again to Proline TV for more thoroughbred horse racing coverage. I'm your host, Greg DePalma. Joining me once again from the Raggers and Sheets, Jon Hardoon. How's it going, John?
Good, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are now a week almost, actually. Yeah, 1 week since Thanksgiving. So next up, Christmas. We're going to have to we're going to have to tell everybody Merry Christmas when we leave the show, because we will not be back, I believe, right, until after Christmas. I believe that's our schedule.
3 weeks off. Wow.
Let me take a look. No, actually, we are returning for the race on the 20th. That is the 3 Gulfstream races. Then we take a month off.
Oh, okay.
So
great.
We will be back before Christmas. It'll be the Gulfstream races, the Fort Lauderdale, the Harlan's Holiday, and the Sewanee River. That's on the 20th of December. And then we'll be out until January 24th when we return for some even bigger races at Gulfstream, including the Pegasus World Cup races. So that's coming up and then once we get on a roll again in January, then we'll be on. Yeah. So, okay. We have Aqueduct today, John, for Saturday. The weather looks good. So not that it matters as much because no turf races, but still good weather is good weather. We'll take it. The Cigar Mile is the biggest race of the day and of the weekend in the industry. So we'll be talking about that second. That'll be race number 10, but we begin with race number 9. So let me pop up the entries. This is the Remsen Stakes. So what's the Remsen Stakes about, since it's a 2-year-old race?
Remsen Stakes. I think it's named after a horse, probably. Why don't you Google Remsen?
Okay.
It's been running this race like forever, I think. Yeah, it's a grade 2 Remsen.
Are any of these horses, it's a big field of 12, any of these horses potentially Derby horses?
Who knows? They're lightly raced. I mean, Chad Brown sends out the 2-horse Paladin, who has 1 career start. Renegade has 2 career starts. I mean, these are lightly raced horses. They're obviously horses that took time to get ready. That's why they're running in this race, and they didn't run in any stakes really prior to this. The interesting thing is Chad Brown is entering a horse that's still a maiden. The 2 is a Paladin, I guess.
Yeah, Paladin.
Yeah, he went off 6-5 his first time. He got beat ahead, and he's still a maiden. He didn't win that race, and he's running him in this race. Not only that, the other problem is most of this field is stretching out to 1 1/8 for the first time. Some of them been a mile, but most of those mile races that they've been in have been 1 turn. This is going to be the furthest any of these have gone. So,
and definitely out of the 2 races, the race that we stand to hopefully make more money. Going to be harder in race number 10, only 7 in the Cigar Mile, and 2 favorites will be tough to beat. But in this race, again, lots of horses, lots of inexperienced horses, meaning lots of potential parity, especially when you said with Paladin. I mean, not only is Paladin in his second race, but he's the morning line favorite of the race. So before we get to Paladin, we'll start with the day one starter. And this is a horse that went 23-13. So that was really nice, but then bounced, unfortunately, all the way back to 23. So when you see something like that, what do you think?
Well, first of all, you hear what you just said. He went from 23 to 15. So just like he went and improved 8 points in his second start, so could a lot of other horses in this race, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they did. I gave the horse a 15. I don't think he's going to run better. He's also stretching out to 1 1/8 today for the first time, so that's a question. But all that being said, I gave the horse another 15. I didn't know what to give him. I mean,
another interesting thing is after he ran to 13, he was the favorite in his last race, the one that he went back to 23.
Right.
So now you're getting 15-1. So, I mean, it's anything can happen. At least he has a 13. So that's something to keep in mind.
But the problem is a 13 is probably not going to win it for you. So.
Probably not. Yep. Okay. Now is Paladin, the 3-1 morning line favorite, coming off a 10 in his first race. And when you see a horse come out with a 10, do you expect the horse to go backwards?
Well, first of all, it's Chad Brown. So his horses don't bounce a lot, and when you run a 10 first out, well, that's not an easy thing to do unless you're a pretty good horse. So that could be the situation. Not only that, they thought enough of the horse to make him 6-5 in his first lifetime start. The interesting thing is that he got beat by the 9 horse. The 9 horse was in that race. Actually, he got put up, Paladin, so he's no longer a maiden because he was placed first. They disqualified the 9 horse.
Yeah,
they were in
right.
the same race.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah. So, Renegade wound up, unfortunately for Renegade fans, you got bounced to the second place spot after running a 9. We'll get to him in a little bit. But Chad Brown and Pratt, boy, are they off to great starts as well during this meet. And someone paid a lot of money for this horse. So this is maybe one of those horses that has Derby dreams. So we'll see. Okay. Next up is the 3 I Did. This is a maker horse. Rosario on board for the first time, coming off a grade 3 14, which was actually his best number. He had run 22, 218s, then a 14. So at least he's headed in the right direction. Finished 4th in that race after breaking his maiden in the race before.
Yeah, it's a 4-point new top, but he has one advantage over a lot of other horses in this race. His last 2 races actually have been 2-turn races. The Churchill Mile in the 16th was around 2 turns, and the race before that was around 2 turns at Churchill. And Saturday he's going 1 mile and 1/8. So he's been further than most of the rest of the field. You know, that being said, it is what it is. He's a little slower. You got faster horses.
Unless he takes a big jump, yes.
Yeah.
And I guess it's possible, but we'll see. All right, Griftiness.
Didn't he take the big jump last time?
I took he's taken 2 4-point jumps in his career already.
Yeah.
So he would probably need to take another 4-point jump.
Exactly.
So, we'll see if he can do it. All right. Next up is the 4 Griftiness. This is one of 3 trained Pletcher horses in the race. Jimmy Rodriguez on board. Looks to be a little bit slow. He ran a 17 last time out at Aqueduct. That's his best race. He hasn't won yet, though.
No, I don't like this horse in this spot.
The 5 is Chambersville, another horse that is, this horse not only is a little slower, but he's never been on dirt before.
Right, so we know nothing about him. He's basically like a first-time starter. He is bred for turf, and he's been on turf his first 3 races. You know, the stakes race came up, so they're going to try him on the dirt in this spot.
The 6 is Courting, and Courting is a 9-2 shot. This is the second Pletcher horse. Velasquez on board. He's been on board for both mounts, including the win last time out. He started with a 14. Then he breaks his maiden going the opposite direction to a 16.
Yeah, the problem I have with this horse is he's reverse buried. He went backwards last time out and actually won that race going backwards. So keep that in mind. You know, the interesting thing is that Pletcher has 3 horses in this race. He rode Renegade last time out, the horse that we haven't gotten to yet, Velasquez, and he opts to ride this horse. So that's a little interesting.
Okay. Now, here's also something that's interesting because Igniter, just by looking at the fact that Igniter, who beat Courting in that race to start both of their careers, actually to start Courting's career, that was the second race of Igniter's career. Igniter has a 14 and a 13. So he's got a really nice line there. And you're getting a little bit better money for Igniter, 6-1. I don't know if that'll, I guess that stays like that because of the Pletcher Velasquez combo with the 6 with Courting.
Yeah, probably. I would rather bet Igniter than Courting, to tell you. Yeah. If I had to pick between the 2 of them,
sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah. The 8 is, I don't even need to pronounce this horse's name. I don't know what he's doing in the race.
Neither does he. Next.
Renegade. So here's Renegade. So Renegade starts off his career with a 23. That's kind of typical. Then a major move up to a 9. Again, he got bumped to second place in that race with Paladin. But still, 9's a 9, John.
Yeah, the 23 means absolutely nothing to me. It was the first race of his life. He obviously wasn't a go that day, you know. And the 9 is more like numbers that he'll be running than the 23. Not only that, he ran the 9 and he's got time off since the 9. Well, I guess he has the same time off that the 2 does because they're coming out of the same race.
Okay, and you're getting twice the
Yeah,
money there.
why would you bet the 2 over the 9 if the 9 already beat the 2? I understand he got put up, but it was a bump close to the finish line. You know, it was a questionable takedown, to tell you the truth. If you, I mean, the 2's 3-1, the 9's 5-1. Why wouldn't I bet the 9?
Now, when you're looking at, I know it's really tough because they're so lightly raced. But when you're looking at a horse coming off a 9 and another horse coming off a 10, are there any odds that tell you that one of those horses will end up bouncing more because the 9 had a 23 to a 9, whereas the 2 just had one race and it was a 10?
Well, the 23 means absolutely nothing, because if the 23 meant anything, he wouldn't have run a 9 in career start number 2.
Okay.
You know, it's not like he had 5 races and then popped the 9.
Okay.
He had a ton of races.
So it's just no real distinction between those two. Okay.
No, not only that, they're both coming from good barns with good trainers. So no, the answer is no to that.
Okay. Next up is Balboa. The 10 horse is a 12-1 shot. Now he is coming off a 14 in his last race. And interesting because Baffert trains the horse in his first 4 races. He puts him out there after he breaks his maiden in race 2 with a 16 to 2 grade 1 races. He doesn't do anything there. He was long shots in both, ran 18s. Then Brittany Russell takes over, and at Laurel runs a 14, wins the race, was the favorite at post time, so it wasn't like he did anything shocking. So yeah, what do you make out of that?
I make that it's no big deal, because Baffert usually gets the good numbers the first couple of races. He had this horse for 4 races. Listen, this horse is owned by an owner that owns a lot of horses with Baffert. Baffert has a bunch of 2-year-olds on the West Coast, so he has to keep these horses separated. They can't keep running against each other. So like Brandt beat this horse first time out, that's a Baffert horse. Brandt beat this horse in his 3rd career start, that's a Baffert horse. So he kept getting beaten by Baffert horses. So obviously, what's the point to keep running them against each other if they're not beating them? So what they do is he shipped this horse to Brittany Russell on the East Coast. So I guess this horse will be running on the East Coast. But I don't think there's much to this horse, because he's got a history. He's got 5 races.
Yeah.
You only need a 10 or better to win. Why is he going to run it?
Yeah, the only good thing is you're getting 12-1.
Okay, but you're getting 15-1 on the 12. Why not bet him? I'm just saying, if that's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Listen, a horse like the 1 is 15-1. He's breaking from the rail. He looks just as good or better than this horse.
And he's got a 13.
Yeah, exactly. And even the 3, I did. He's been around 2 turns already, and he ran the same 14. Yep. So the 10 doesn't make my list.
The 11 is Talkin', and this is another horse that looks pretty good because he's been in 2 races. Both of them have been solid 13s, and maybe even more impressively is after breaking his maiden right out of the gate, he goes to a grade 1 race and finishes 2nd. Now, it was by 6 lengths, but still, he finished 2nd, 7-1 in the race. Here he's 5-1, and Danny Gargan, just so you know, he has won 2 of the last 3 Remsen Stakes.
Really? That's interesting. And by the way, Danny Gargan, I believe, is 5 for 5 at the meet. He had a winner today, a horse that just won a few races back. And I think he had another winner maybe Saturday of last. I think he's 5 for 5. I know for sure he's 4 for 4 at least, because he's got 4 wins in 4 starts. So that's a little interesting. And nothing wrong with that horse. And finally, Probably Dreaming, another one that's slow, ran the 12 sprinting, but the route race is 17 and 19.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be too concerned.
Okay, so what did you come up with?
Well, I was going to originally go with the 2 because, but then I figured, why would I go with the 2 before I go with the 9? I get it. The 2 is drawn inside. The 2 only has 1 lifetime start. But the 9 is the value. The 9's 5-1. The 2 is 3-1. So I'm going with 9 over 2, 7, 11. The 9 is Renegade over the 2, 7, and 11.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead with the 7, Igniter. So I'll take the 7 at 6-1. And let's see. Let's put Igniter with, I tell you what, let's put Igniter with the 3. Let's get the 3 in there.
And you're not
with that
using the 2, you're using the 3. Okay.
Yeah, I want to. Well, actually, actually, I am going to use one of those 2. So I'm going to use the. Well, you got the 2 and the 9. I'm going to use the 2. So I'll use the 2 and the 3. I'll use one of those 2, and then we'll put in one more, and that will be. Let's go ahead with the 11.
So you're avoiding the 9. Okay, so you have 7 with 2, 3, 11. I have 9 with 2, 7, 11.
There you go. All right. So that is
the 9th race, the Remsen. Now we're going to go to the Cigar Mile. And this horse is named after a cigar.
Yeah, that's an easy one, right? And this one will be post time about 3:37. Race number 9 post time was 3:08. So let's get into it. And we are going to, let me get this up here. Okay. So, again, this is for 3-year-olds and up. Interesting that Todd Pletcher has won 3 of the last 4 Cigar Mile handicaps, yet he does not, even though he's got 3 horses in the Remsen, he does not have a horse in the Cigar Mile. So let's get to it. You've got the 2 horses, John, that are going to be hard to beat, and that's the 6 and the 7, Phileas Fogg, and the 7 being Bishop's Bay. So,
okay.
We'll see if we've got a long shot that might be able to team up with one of those 2 favorites. Let's see if we can find one, if that's the route we go. We'll start with the 1, Doc Sullivan. And Doc Sullivan has a couple of 6s this year. His first 6 came in his first race with the new trainer, John Ortiz, back in July. Then he ran a couple of 9s, had a bad 12, which isn't terrible, and then came right back with a 6 on a sloppy track last time out at Aqueduct.
Okay, so if it happens to rain, it will help this horse because the first 6 he ran for Ortiz was a slop. The last 6 he ran for Ortiz is a slop. But every time he runs the 6, he seems to react. Not only that, I think both 6s, by the way, were sprinting. Now the Cigar Mile is obviously run at a mile, so that's why I didn't like him.
Yeah. So what's the difference between MY and SY? I know sloppy makes sense, but what's MY?
Muddy.
Okay. Right. And where do they make those? How do you differentiate between the 2?
How much water's on the track? If it pours, it's going to be sloppy. If it rains, it's going to.
So muddy comes first, obviously.
Before it gets back to fast, it goes sloppy, muddy, good, and fast. So it's not going to go sloppy fast. You understand?
Yep.
So,
all right.
Different degrees of wetness in the racetrack.
Next up is Mika, a 12-1 shot. First time from Michael Maker, coming off an 8, which was his best race. Last time out, he's on a 2-race win streak. But since breaking his maiden on turf in July of last year, he's had 2 wins and no wins so far off of Lasix.
Okay, so the interesting thing about this horse is, let's throw out his very first race of a 29 as a 2-year-old. That race meant absolutely nothing. And by the way, he was trained by Mike Maker there as well, and now he's back to Mike Maker. Yes. I have a feeling he was just running under Brittany Russell's name but Maker had horses in Kentucky. I don't know. Owners are crazy. I guess they gave the horse back. But the point I was trying to make about this horse is, don't be so quick to dismiss him, because really, as far as I'm concerned, he only has 2 races on the dirt. He has the 11 earlier this year in May, right? And that was a sloppy track. And then he ran the 8 last time out. So his last 2 races are both dirt races, an 11 and an 8. He's lightly raced. Why can't he make a forward move? He's a big price. Just pointing it out.
Yeah, the anytime it just makes sense that anytime you're probably going to roll the dice on a horse who's never won off of Lasix, you might as well do it when he's a long shot.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So this would definitely be the time to take advantage of that.
Well, remember, everyone in the race is off of Lasix for the most part. You know, they've all run on Lasix at some point in their career. That's all I'm saying. We don't know that he can't handle Lasix. We don't know that.
No, yes, exactly. We do not know.
He has to prove to us that he can't, he didn't get better when he ran on Lasix. He ran a 21 as a 2-year-old on the grass. On Lasix as a 3-year-old, he ran a 17. That's just natural progression, that he would have run the same 17 if it was dirt or turf, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because besides the first race, really the other race, I would rather just draw a line through the 25 because that looked like he just had nothing.
Okay, fine.
Which means if you go that way, he's improved every race. So,
Correct.
All right, next up is the 3, and this horse it looks like has never raced outside of being on Lasix. He's coming off a 7 in his last start at this distance, at this racetrack, winning the race. That was an optional claimer, but that was a new 3-point top that I can see here on a dirt fast track.
Yeah.
So what about Pentathlon?
Well, the interesting thing is they took blinkers off last time, and he improved the 3 points of the 7. Listen, I look at the 2 and I look at the 3. I look at Mika and I look at Pentathlon, and to me they look like the same horse. The only difference is I think Mika will be a lot longer price. That's all. Not only that, Pentathlon, even though he has time off, he could still bounce off of that 7. So I don't know. And again, he'll be a lot shorter price than Mika will be.
Yeah, because at least the 3 has some decent numbers, 10, 12s, 13s, and then boom, 7.
Yeah.
So would you expect, though, a bounce?
It would depend. I mean, he's more likely to bounce than repeat, but he really never bounces. That's the interesting thing about the horse. Even last year when he ran a 10, which was a new top, he only bounced 2 points to the 12. And this year, he's improved with every race because the trainer did a good job. He spaced his race as well. He gives him time between races. He knows that he runs big numbers or whatever, and it has its effect on him. He's okay. This horse is not bad.
All right.
Here's the problem I have with this horse. Rosario rode this horse last time, and he goes to Filer's Fog. Carmouche, who rode Filer's Fog the last 6 times he ran, isn't even in the race. He's not riding in this race, but he is there on Saturday. He's listed on other horses. So I have no idea what's going on with musical jockeys. By the way, Rosario also rode the 1 horse last time out, Doc Sullivan. So
yeah.
Everybody's on a different horse here. It's crazy.
Yes. Okay. Next up is the 4, Crazy Mason. 7-2 shot. Not sure there's much value with the 4. He's got a grade 2 win, which is nice. And he did it off of Lasix, which is also nice. He ran a 10 in that race, sandwiched in between a 7 and a 9. And he's coming in following back-to-back 9s.
Yeah, but they're also all sprint races. You know, you could make a case that he's getting a little better, but he never came back to the 7 that he ran second start this year. He's 7-2. I would much rather bet either the 2 or the 3 before I bet this horse.
Yeah, no value on Crazy Mason. Next up is Brazenly. Now, Brazenly is one of those interesting horses. I mean, look, he is 7 years old, so that's definitely sticks out in a 7-horse field.
We played him last time out at Del Mar.
Did we?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if we did this race because the trainer William Walden took over. They bought this horse privately, and they got the 6 out of him. And earlier this year, he had a 5 and a 7.
Yeah,
well at a mile. And I just thought the trainer change was humongous. So I've been chasing this horse, and now he's 30-1. Here's this horse's story. In the summer, he was in Del Mar. Then he went to Churchill. Then he went to Aqueduct. Then he went back to Del Mar, and now he's back to Aqueduct. So he certainly spends a lot of time flying. But that being said, he's also a 7-year-old that ran a 6 last time out. The only reason I'm going to throw him in is because he's 30-1. I don't expect him to run well, but he does have some number power. He does have a 7, a 5, and a 6 this year. So,
absolutely. And again, there's only 7 horses in the field.
Right. He doesn't have to beat many of them. And if 1 or 2 of them stub their toe, well, he certainly has a shot. And the price is ridiculous.
Yeah, this would be one of those situations where if you do not use the sheets, then you're completely not even considering this horse.
Right.
So I'm going to give you another reason to play the 5. John Velasquez has won the last 3 Cigar Mile handicaps.
There you go.
So there you go.
That's interesting.
Yes. So let's throw in the 5.
Were they all for Pletcher? I guess they were all for Pletcher, weren't they?
I believe so. Yes. Well, yeah, I think, no, 2 of them. No, actually, yeah, because it was 3 out of 4 for Pletcher. So it probably was the deal. Okay, next up, now we get to two favorites. Phileas Fogg, the 9-5 favorite. Rosario on board. Wow, this horse has just about won nearly half of his races. And the line is really excellent. Even just in his last 4 races, he's gone 9, 7, 6, and 5. You can't really do much better than that.
Yeah, but he is a 5-year-old. This horse was actually claimed for 62.5, I believe, and this horse turned out to be some terrific claim, because since Gustavo Rodriguez took over the training, the horse has never missed the board. They have him for 9 races. He's finished 3rd once. He finished 2nd 3 times, and he won 3 times. So pretty good claim, and now he's the favorite in a $500,000 race on Saturday. So he's the horse to beat, no question about it.
And then you've got Bishop's Bay, the 7 at 2-1, where Cox and Pratt. So once again, Pratt is having a great meet. So is Cox. This horse has 3 Grade 3 wins. He's got 2 wins at Aqueduct. He's won all 3 of his races that he's been at this distance, this mile distance, including 2 of the last 3, actually 3 of the last 4. And those numbers in 3 of the last 4 were 7, 5, and 8.
And he loves Aqueduct. He's 2 for 2 at the distance at Aqueduct, and he's 3 for 3 at the distance. Just pointing it out.
And his percentage is even better than the 6. He's got 8 wins out of 12 starts.
Yeah.
So it's either first or second in 11 of his 12 races, which
Yeah,
is pretty damn impressive. So
how are we leaving him out?
I guess the question is, do you like the 7 or the 6?
Well, I'm going to like the 6, because even though the 6 is 9-5 and the 7 is 2-1, I'll bet dollars to donuts that the 7 is a favorite over the 6.
100%. You got Cox and Pratt.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You got Cox and Pratt, and he went off 60 cents to $1 last time, 30 cents to $1. He's been the favorite in 8 out of his last 10 races, whatever it is.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, but you're right. Phileas Fogg won't be the favorite. It'll be Bishop's Bay. And both good horses, good to see in a race like this, but one of them will only win. Hopefully the other will not come in second. Right.
That'll kind of blow our whole cover there if they decide to do that.
Yes.
So my selection is the 6, Phileas Fogg, over the 2, 5, and 7 in exact. The 6 with 2, 5, and 7.
Okay. And let's see. Yep, you've got the 2 in there. And the 5, I have no problem. That's, I'm going to second that motion.
There you go.
So there you go. We are going to be returning in a couple of weeks. So we'll be back for the races on the 20th, and that is going to be Gulfstream Park. So hopefully we'll have some good races there. There are 3 Grade 3 races for us to handicap, and then we're off for a month when we return once again at Gulfstream Park for the Pegasus World Cup. And I think there are a total of 8 graded stakes races that day at Gulfstream Park, and that should kick off a nice run for us.
There you go. All right, Greg, stay safe and be well. All the listeners as well. So we'll be back on the 20th. I guess that's 2 weeks, right?
That is correct.
Okay, sir. Stay safe and be well. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up. Want to remind everybody that in a half hour, we are going to be live once again with our football coverage on the Playbook ATS podcast. That is going to be with Jim Feist, Andy Isco, and myself. Mark Lawrence, not sure he's going to be able to make it. Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post is going to be our special guest. We're going to talk about the New York Giants, a few topics to talk about there with Ryan. We'll also get into championship week in college football, which kicks off tomorrow night. So that's coming up at 5 o'clock. And don't forget, if you want to make sure, anytime there's a live show on, whether it's horse racing, football, NASCAR, what else do we do here? What else do we do a lot of? Oh, you know what we're going to be doing a lot of? Basketball. I don't know when we're going to start. I'm already into the groove. I might actually put a video out really soon because I've already done some homework and I'm ready to put out my first futures video out. The teams to keep an eye on, things of that nature. So yeah, we're going to be doing lots of college basketball. We'll talk hockey. We'll talk NBA. And then also, of course, we'll have in January kicking off the PGA Tour season. So we're going to get into that. And even when the football season ends, we're going to be really busy with football between free agency, the NFL draft, as well as college football with the transfer portal. So that's going to wrap it up. Hit the join button if you would like to check out what Mark Lawrence and Jim Feist have each week with their picks. Right now doing football picks predominantly, but they're also going to be adding in basketball picks as well. And yes, as Jon said, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll be off next week, back again in 2 weeks for the races on December 20th. And then we'll be off for the next month. For Jon Hardoon, I'm Greg DePalma. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.